at 10:35. Coach Simmons with Florida A&M will be at 10:45. Coach Jackson with Grambling State will be at 10:55. Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff will be at 11:05. Coach Wade with Mississippi Valley State will be at 11:15. Coach McDow with Prairie A&M will be at 11:25. Coach Duly with Southern University will be at 11:35. Coach McKinney will be at 11:45 with Texas Southern. And rounding out will be Coach Taylor with Jackson State. His time allotment is at 11:55 a.m. These are all Central Standard Times. We'll be back momentarily. Once again, for our media participants on the call, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. For our coaches, please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we do have time allotted in our coaches' availability, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. And please make sure that your lines are actively muted unless you're actively asking a question, and please wait to be called upon before asking your question. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's last outing versus Jackson State.
Thank you, man. We went to Mobile to play in the Gulf Coast Challenge against Jackson State. Coach TC had those guys ready to play. We knew it was going to be a tough game, a good game. They had a well-coached team, and they played hard. And, we got off to a bad start. So we turned the ball over a couple of times real early, gave them short fields, fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line. Before you know it, it was 21-0 with 7 minutes left in the first quarter. So we made a quarterback change and just kept fighting. And, I was proud of my team because we never gave up, and we cut it to 32 to 45. I think 30 to 45. We drove the ball down, got to the 1 yard line, actually scored a touchdown, and got a holding call and backed us up and got back down there and had a chance on 4th down. It was slant route and didn't execute the play. Had a guy open and we just bounced the ball. So we would have had an opportunity cut to one possession and try for an onside kick, but fell short. Got to take your hats off to those guys. Jackson State and TC did a great job in a great conference game. So we fell short.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. I do understand you didn't have a successful outing this past weekend, but do you think, first question, do you think Quincy was just pushing a little too hard because he was at one time with Jackson State? Do you think that may have been the issue?
I don't know. I guess so. But I talked to Quincy and I told him that Quincy only knew one player from Jackson team from when he was there. With the big turnover the last couple of years, and then Coach Prime left and took a lot of his staff. Of course, TC remained there, a couple other guys, but a lot of the coaches were gone, and he only knew one player from that team. So it shouldn't have been a personal thing. Should just go out and play the way he played the last couple of weeks, and obviously he didn't do that.
Yeah, and I do have to commend you on your team. Had it not been for those two costly mistakes early during the game, it would have made a big difference in the fourth quarter. So, what do you contribute that to the way your guys played and the never give up mentality of what you guys did in the game? Because I watched the entire game, and I have to tip my hat to you, Coach.
Thank you.
That was a really well coached game from you. I'm a JSU alum, but I'm gonna tell you, Coach, well coached game. I tip my hat to you.
Thank you. We're not gonna ever give up. We're gonna always keep fighting. And the message at halftime was we just got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. Even the last touchdown before the half, the long pass, we was in cover 3, and the corner on that side got beat by 2 yards. And so if we play the defense call and quit shooting ourselves in the foot, turn the ball over, and just play football, we got a chance every game that we play. But if we don't, when we can't turn the ball over 4 times against a good football team and give them short fields and give them the ball on the 1 yard line and expect to beat them. So, but again, I was proud of my team because they never quit. We kept fighting, and we just ran out of time, as some people would say.
Well, much respect to you, Coach, and much success in your next game.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Jay Keith.
Hey, Coach, JT Keith, USA Today. Congratulations. I know it was a well-fought game. I was there as well. My question to you is, did you think about doing something different the last minute of the first half? Because they scored. It was a interception or a turnover in the last minute of the half. I think they scored. You gave them the ball back with a minute left or 30 seconds left, and you could have maybe ran out the clock because they weren't trying to stop you.
No, we were trying to score. We wanted to make it 28-14 before the half, and we was getting the ball coming out, so we can get a score right there. It's 2 minutes. We practice that every day, so it was 2-minute drill. We take the ball down and score under that 2 minutes, right? The last 2 minutes of the first half, and make it 28-14. And so, we were trying to get back in the football game, and we maximum protect on the play that we took a sack back to the 3 or 4 yard line. We maximum protect, and one of our guys just let somebody go for no reason. So, we just made some bonehead mistakes, and we got to get them cleaned up. And we get those mistakes cleaned up, we're a decent football team.
And Coach, you look like a different team at half. What did you say to your guys at halftime? Because it was a different game.
We just got to execute. We didn't execute. We didn't play the defense call. We gave them short field. We turned the ball over. So we just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. We had guys, 2 receivers in the same spot, one shunting, that would have led to a touchdown, possibly a touchdown. And we just was not executing our game plan very well. We was not doing the little things. And so we just needed to settle down and play Bulldogs football. And we was able to do that in the second half. But we can't spot a team 35-7 at halftime and think you're going to come back and win the football game 21-0 midway through the first quarter. We just dug ourselves a hole too deep to come out of it.
And is Quincy going to be your quarterback going forward?
Say again?
Casey, is he going to be your quarterback going forward? Still started?
We don't know. We're gonna evaluate this week in practice, see how these guys play, see how they perform, and we'll make a decision.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynard with Alabama A&M. Any final questions for Coach Maynard with Alabama A&M? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're a few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach Robinson with Alabama State's availability. We'll pause momentarily. We'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you for your patience. We'll just give another minute or two in case we have anyone joining us specifically to speak to Coach Robinson. We'll pause for another minute. We'll be back here momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, happy to be joined by Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. With that being said, Coach, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's last outing versus Bethune-Cookman.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. Had a good homecoming crowd in Montgomery, Alabama, playing Bethune-Cookman. Coach Woody brought those guys down here. I thought they played extremely hard. We were down 7-3 at the half. Tried to get the running game going, couldn't get a whole lot. Kind of opened things up a little bit more in the third quarter. Was able to get a lead up to like 19-7, but they came back and kept going down the field and cut it to 19-14. We had a late turnover, ill-advised throw. We were kind of in that in-between trying to score and trying to work some clock on the third down play. But that kid made a great play and was able to take it down to the 10-yard line. Ended up being where they had 4 shots from the 10-yard line to try to win the game. So our defense had to come on the field and made some plays at the end of the game. So real proud of those guys. Offense did a good job, moving the ball down the field, especially in the second half. I just had that one big turnover. Both teams played a pretty clean game. I think it was only 2 penalties apiece. And the biggest thing, we were able to get the win, and that's what we preach to the guys. It's homecoming. Everybody's on campus. We want to send everybody home to the tailgate happy. So we were able to accomplish that. Still have some things we need to improve on. We did block another field goal, so that was big. But at the same time, had some special teams miscues. So a good win at home. We needed one really bad. So now we get on to the next game.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Robinson. First question goes to JT Keith.
Coach, I talked to you at SWAC Media Day, and you know what I'm going to ask you? That you're coming to the vet this week, and if I ain't SWAC, who is? That's going to be the theme. So can you talk a little bit about that? And have you even talked to Deanna after that at all?
No, well, that was like a year ago. So that's I think in the age of social media and news stories, that should definitely be out the cycle by now.
No, it's not. I'm bringing it back.
Not.
It's not. I'm telling you now, it's not.
I have to check my social media accounts. But no, I think that last year was last year. I think this is another game. Our biggest thing is we're going to Jackson this year, and it's their homecoming. And like I told the kids, it's a great venue to play. Coach, I know he'll have everybody ready to go, and it's just going to be a great SWAC game. I mean, as always, the homecomings are great. I've probably been to every homecoming of every SWAC team, and I think Jackson State rates right up there as one of the best. So it's just going to be a great opportunity for us to go down there and play in a great venue against a really good team.
Coach, have you even talked to Deion since then?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Cool. And what kind of problems do they present for you guys?
Yeah, well, I think they're getting the running game going. I think whenever you have a team that can run with some explosive backs, I mean, they have guys that can go 60 and 70 yards. So you want to definitely try to take control of that. And this defense-wise, they're a very disciplined team. They don't give up a lot of big plays. So for us, we have to have our same motto, run the football, control the clock, win the turnover battle. Just, the cliche coach things that when you don't do them, you end up losing the football game.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. If you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Floor is currently open for questions. Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach. It's great to see you again. With this game coming up, and you did mention you've gone to pretty much every homecoming in the SWAC. With this game coming up for homecoming, now it's kind of a back-to-back homecoming for ASU and Jackson State. How do you feel that Jackson State will take having you guys for homecoming, especially granted the coaching changes, but yet and still, Alabama State has always posed a problem for Jackson State. So how do you feel ASU will pose this problem with JSU this year?
Yeah, well, I mean, Coach Taylor, he's been there for some time, just like me. He's an alumnus of Jackson State. He knows the SWAC really well. So, I mean, he knows about Alabama State, but at the same time, I mean, he understands the importance of winning homecoming, just like I understood it this week, being an alumnus of Alabama State. So it's one of those things, regardless of who you play, you have a lot of friends and family coming back on campus, and you want to send them to the tailgate happy. So I think that's going to be the message to his team. And regardless of who you play, you want to go out there and put your best foot forward when everybody's coming on your campus. It's a SWAC homecoming game for us like it was last year, and now it's a SWAC game, last week, and now it's a SWAC game for them. So if you look around the conference, all of these SWAC games are going down to the last play, who makes the big play, who makes the mistake. And so we expect it to be the same type of game. It's going to be a game that's going to go down to the fourth quarter, and it's going to be a young man that's going to make a big play. Unfortunately, it may be a young man that makes a mistake. And so you just have to really sharpen your pencil, just be really detailed, and try to make that big play when it counts towards the end of the game.
And one last question. You, ASU have had in a couple of games closing out the big games, but you were able to close out against Bethune. What do you attribute that to? You think your players have finally said, okay, finally matured to a point that we can finally close out games, or what do you attribute that to now?
Well, we'll find out this week, but I think what we did was we went back to practice. I think whenever you don't do something well in the game, you have to go back to practice. So the last couple of games, we had situations where in the fourth quarter we made some mistakes. So what we did was at the end of practice, our last period, we called everybody up. We let everybody know, hey, this is going to simulate the fourth quarter. We're going to put you in a stressful situation, ones versus ones, or whatever we kind of focused on that day. And now you have to win this last period. So as opposed to just trying to get through practice and thinking about, hey, what I do next for the rest of the day, let's actually win this period. And then you want to get into that same mindset. You make practice hard, so when you get into the game, you've been into that pressure situation before.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, thanks very much for your comments. Much success to you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Rob J.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How's it going?
I'm okay, Coach. Thank you so much. Going back to what JT mentioned, I know last year you mentioned that you wanted Jackson State to put you on their homecoming schedule. Was that just heat of the moment, or does that bother you that you're their homecoming opponent this year?
No, not at all. I mean, if you look at, our homecoming is always the first Saturday of October. It was Jackson State one year, it's Bethune-Cookman this year. I don't know who it's going to be next year. I haven't looked that far, but whoever that first SWAC game is in October, that's going to be the homecoming. So I'm sure Jackson State has that same type of mentality. Is their homecoming weekend is kind of set compared to where the rest of the games are. And so you just go out there and play football. I think the adage of, oh, it's a homecoming team, so we're expecting this, we're expecting that. I'm sure Coach Taylor is doing the same thing like I was last week. I was just expecting to win. That's it. Period. Point blank. We're trying to get wins in the business of getting wins. Whether you win by 1, win by 2, it doesn't matter. You just want to end off with a win. So every game here in the SWAC is hard. Everybody's fighting each other tooth and nail. I think everybody you play, you have to go into it just hoping to get a win and play hard and finish the game off strong.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time, Coach.
Absolutely.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Any final questions for Coach? All right, we'll take a question from JT Keith.
Hey, Coach, so can you tell me, in your definition, what is SWAC to you?
Well, I guess to me it's just, and I kind of go back to, playing in the NFL with Steve McNair and Michael Strahan and all those type of guys that was on a lot of different NFL rosters, Ashley Ambrose. Whenever we played against other NFL teams, we would look and say, who's on the roster from a SWAC school or HBCU? And so after the game, SWAC, what's going on? We kind of talked about people like, hey, what's up, SWAC? And so it was just a general thing in the locker. And there was a guy that played at the Big Ten or the SEC, and he's like, hey, man, I'm SWAC. No, you can't be SWAC. You didn't go to HBCU. So I guess from that standpoint, it's just those guys that went through the struggle, especially in the 70s, 80s, and 90s of, catching the bus from Montgomery to Houston to play Texas Southern or to play Prairie View, and having to ride that bus back afterwards. Hopefully you won so you can talk and laugh and have a good time. So just the camaraderie of playing HBCU football, it means a whole lot to me, and I know it means a lot to other people. But I mean, from a bigger standpoint, it's a lot of other people who came in and went to PWIs who did a great job here at the HBCU. So to me, it's just a mindset of loving HBCU football, and that's just my definition of it. Everybody else may have a different one, and that's okay.
So, Coach, let me ask you this to follow up. Can a knockback, Power 5 PWI knockback be considered SWAC if he comes in your senior year?
I think we're all inclusive in the SWAC community. I think if you love HBCU football and then you love participating in the tailgates and the pageantry of the Magic City Classic, Bayou Classic, everything else, Gulf Coast Classic, then hey, you're SWAC. So I don't think it's a matter of who's not SWAC. It's hey, we're in a great space right now in the SWAC, and if you want to be a part of it, then I tell a young man we're recruiting them, just like they told me when I was coming out of New Orleans, say stay SWAC, stay Black. We want everybody to be part of the HBCU football community and SWAC football.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely.
We've got time for one last question for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. All right, last question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. It was recently reported that Alabama A&M agreed to extend their commitment to the Magic City Classic until 2026. As someone who is SWAC and played in that game and coached in that game, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think that's great. I mean, that's a big game. We'll talk about it after this one. So, but right now I'm focused on Jackson State. But yeah, I think that's a great deal. Great for both schools.
All right, thanks.
Absolutely.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. All right, next up, we will go to Alcorn State and Coach McNair. You see that we have Coach with us. Once again, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach McNair with Alcorn State. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's last outing versus Grambling State.
It was a great venue, man. I tell you what, it was homecoming and great crowd, great anticipation of everything, man. And even the game was a tough ball game between both well-coached football teams. I thought that they did a great job defensively, mixing up things to kind of offset what we was doing offensively. I think Coach Thornton really had a game plan together to get us to struggle in the running game. But I thought that we did a great job of throwing the ball around the yard a little bit. So it was a great football game, man. I tell you, it was a great effort between both teams. Really straining themselves to win. We fumble the ball in the end zone. They get up 7-0. We come back and we tied up. We had a scoreless second quarter. Come back in the third quarter. They go up 13-7, and they go up 8 points in the third quarter. So we had to do some things to fight back and really play hard. I thought that we played hard. We had 3 turnovers. Credit they had something to do with that. But we can't turn the ball over. So we were able to take it away 3 times from them. So kind of even it out. But we just got to bounce back and get ready for an open week and get ready for Pine Bluff the week after.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill, inside the HBC. Good morning, Coach McNair.
Good morning, Doc.
Man, you've been in some nail biters the last couple of weeks. As a fan, just watching this has been exciting, but for coaching staff, the importance of how you're able to execute to really put your team to win the last 3 games. Talk about what you're getting done in these ball games, which seem to be close, and we're seeing it across the SWAC in a lot of areas. The importance of being able to execute down the stretch to even put yourself in a position to get the victory.
I guess it kind of pays off to the coaching staff for what they do in terms of everyday practice and getting their guys ready to play on Saturday. Executing wise, that's the thing that we always strive on. Do the little things right, the big thing will come. I think the biggest thing was, the guys don't panic. They didn't panic at all when they got behind. They didn't panic at all on the last drive. Defense came up and made a stop at the end of the game. So, these guys are relentless, man. They play hard. They play to the end. We always talk about fast start and finish strong. So these guys, they really up to the challenge of what the coaches give them each and every day from a coach's standpoint. Just being able to stay calm and not panic. I think that's the biggest thing that these guys show in their preparation each and every day, how well they can respond to adversity. And I think that's the biggest thing that we get out of this program. These guys respond to adversity because it will come. So I think that's one of the biggest things that we get out of it in terms of how these guys respond to adversity.
Next week is off, so I'll still focus in terms of this matchup. Aaron Allen, your quarterback, seems to be playing well. As you know, he was 20-31 yards and threw 3 touchdowns, did have an interception, but he continues to getting better, a very steady hand, particularly as your rushing game may not be quite where you are. Talk about his ability to continue to get yourself in position to get the W.
He's been doing a great job, even in the course of practice. He identified the blitz and things he needed to do to put the line in position to protect them. We didn't do such a great job this past week. I think the defense, Coach Thornton did a great job of mixing it up for us up front and gave us some fits up there. So we got some things we got to correct in preparation of our next ball game. But Allen has been doing a great job. I wish he could have took that interception away, hit him in the hands and it just came off and he got that one interception there. But he's been playing flawless, man. I got to credit him in his preparation each and every day at practice. He played the way he practiced and then full focus all the time. So those are the things it's going to take for him to be that guy. And he's doing a good job at it right now. And I hope it continues throughout the rest of the season. We got a long season to go and our next opponent, Pine Bluff. So we're really looking forward to be there.
Certainly, Coach McNair. Thank you. He's doing well. He continues to be Big Ben weekly honors on our watch list as he's playing well, connected, coming out of Texas. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. Coach, I called this weekend for the SWAC conference games, either separation or tribulation. And the reason why I did that is because depending on who won and who lost, it really would have muddied up the waters. With your win and with Southern's loss and Grambling's loss, it really put Alcorn back into the thick of things. And right now you're a half game behind, but you won the last 3 out of 4 games. So what do you attribute this to in terms of how Alcorn is playing and also in preparation for trying to win that SWAC conference?
I guess the biggest thing is, the way these guys come out and compete each and every day, doing their daily bread of practice, and this coaching staff putting a good game plan together, and the guys going out and executing. We always thought that we had a chance when the conference started, when the SWAC play started, that we had a chance, regardless of whatever. But these guys, they always talk about just take care of what we have to take care of. Let's take care of Alcorn business, and I think that in terms of that, that's what we're doing now. These guys know what's at stake. They know one loss could mean it could be devastating. So the biggest thing is we take care of what we got to take care of, and everything else take care of itself. So we don't worry about the other teams winning and losses. We just got to know we got to win. That's one thing that we're really pushing the young men each and every week from here on out, just to win ball games. Just take one game at a time and respond to it, and that's the way you get over the hump. And for all those that doubted us in the beginning, if we lost the Prairie, so be it. We're gonna continue to fight. We're gonna continue to play hard. We're gonna continue to get a lot of effort from this football program, and this coach staff doing a good job of putting the game plan together, and we execute it on all phases of it. So we got a long ride to go. So our next ball game is a big one, and so having to be Pine Bluff. So in 2 weeks, so we're gonna prepare for them like no other.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much, and much success to you in that game against UAPB.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Morning.
All right, Coach. You guys were in the East for a while, then moved over to the West, and the West is just, it's wild. It's from week to week. There can be a new top team. Can you talk about kind of the differences of competing on the East side versus competing in the West side?
It's really no different. All the teams are SWAC. So the biggest thing was that we played the big three out of the West anyway. We was in the East, Pine Bluff, Prairie View, Grambling, and Southern. So we played those big three. We just didn't play Texas Southern and Pine Bluff those years. But now we get a chance to play those guys during the conference in the West Division. So it's really no different. Those guys play football hard over there, and they still do. It's no different. Every Saturday, you got a lot of them play football. Each and every Saturday, you got to go out and compete. So it's no big difference for me and this team, this program, of what side we're on or who we're playing. We just got to play every week, put our best shoes on, and go out and compete. So that's the biggest thing for me. I don't really see any difference in moving from the East to the West. You're gonna play those teams anyway, so you got to come out and compete every Saturday.
All right, Coach. And the follow-up, Dr. Cavill touched on earlier about the player Aaron Allen and how he stepped up. I know at the beginning of the season, a lot of people assumed that Macon was going to take over, but Aaron Allen has really stepped up and shown a lot of difference. Can you talk about what he's meant to this team, even though others kind of doubted him?
The biggest thing is last year he was kind of banged up a little bit last year. Didn't get that chance to play the full season. And his preparation for this year is unbelievable. The way he prepared himself throughout the whole process. Even when we named Mako the starting quarterback during the Southern Miss ball game, he didn't get upset. He stayed on course and did things he had to do. Because to me, I always think the number 2 guy is the most important guy in the backup role of a quarterback position. Number 1 is supposed to go out and compete, but when it's time for number 2 to show up, he has to show up instantly, right now. So I think getting that number 2 guy ready to play is the most important thing, I think, from a quarterback standpoint. And I've coached that position many years. It's the most important job for him to be ready, just so if something happened to the number 1 guy. I'm always thinking about the number 2 guy at that quarterback position more or less than the number 1 guy. Number 1 guy going to get the more reps during the course of practice. Number 2 guy got to take mental reps because they don't get that many reps at practice. I think that the way Allen really focused in and took those reps and now he become the starter, he don't miss a beat. So now we got to get the next guy ready.
All right, Coach. Thank you, and have congratulations. Oh, I'm sorry. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck on the upcoming game.
Thank you, sir.
Coach McNair, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Thank you. Next up, we will go to Bethune-Cookman. Coach Woody. You see that we have Coach with us. Once again, for our media attendees, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Alabama State.
Had a great time, in Alabama. Obviously, ball didn't fall where we wanted it to fall. We ended up, playing one half, and we definitely have to finish the second half, going into halftime up, 7-3. Coach Robinson did a really good job, the first drive, 90-yard drive, and then they had a 95-yard drive. Really wasn't disciplined with our eyes in the secondary. Our goal was trying to stop the run, and then we ended up going in the half up, and then coming into the second half. Coach did a really good job making adjustments. Again, wasn't disciplined in the pass game, and it cost us. And then we had an opportunity in the fourth quarter. We got a big interception and couldn't put it in, inside of the 10. So, we just got to learn how to finish.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Dr. Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. How you doing this morning, Coach Wood?
Great. And yourself?
Doing pretty good. Just wanted to ask you in terms of matchup, your offense in terms of passing, wasn't as efficient. I'm sure you wanted to be. Are some things that you may be able to push forward to try to get the passing game going a little bit?
Yeah, we definitely, when we talk as a staff, it's some things that, we have to make it more simple, for our guys, as far as to read. And then obviously we got to be able to make the catch. So that's something that we've spoke about, the last couple of weeks. And now, we just have to execute.
Next matchup is at home against Texas Southern. Have you had a chance to look at the film? Obviously, they're coming off a bye week, but with their previous matchups, anything in particular that you're seeing that you may cause you some concerns or things that you want to get done from your team against the Tigers at Texas Southern?
Yeah, well, they, Coach does a good job. They're going to play hard. Obviously they're big, aggressive, and they have some skilled guys. I know in all aspects, they play sound, and we have to be ready. We have to correct, the mistakes that we're making, as far as execution on all aspects of the game, and play a good disciplined ball game. But they're going to be ready to play, and they do a good job, and they got good players.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
Great. Yourself?
I'm doing good, Coach. I understand that, some of the results haven't necessarily been where you guys want them, getting the wins and stuff. But in year one, what are some of the lessons that you're able to take and build off of with your team?
Well, just being able to, obviously close out games. Our guys are fighting, it's just situations when we need to step up and close out drives. We don't. I mean, discipline-wise, I know we had 2 penalties. We're definitely, good. We can be better in that aspect, but we got to be able to score. We have to score, and we're trying to generate, offense, and our guys are working, and we're going to get there. These guys, they come to work and go to work, and, again, we just got to put them in better situations.
All right, Coach. And last question for me. A lot of times teams take on, especially under the first year, they take on the identity of their coach. From my point of view, your team speaks of tenacity and resilience. From your viewpoint, what do you see in your team that you kind of feel like you've impressed upon them?
Well, they're starting to love each other, because when you love each other, you spend time. And if you're doing that, it's hard to want to let your teammates down. So they're starting to care. I mean, obviously, a team is not about me, it's about we, and I'm starting to see that. And then, once you start seeing that, no matter what scheme, and who you put out there, they're going to fight to the very end. Like I said, we're not there 100% yet, but, we're getting at least 1% better every day.
All right, Coach, thank you. And good luck going on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. I do understand what you're saying, that your team is not exactly where you want it to be. The offense may need to score some more points. But what can you say about that defense? Because that defense of the Wildcats, I mean, you guys have been doing a pretty doggone good job of shutting down the opposing team. So what do you have to say about your defense so far?
Well, the defense, they're scrappy, not big in stature. And they fly around the ball. Are they there completely? No. Technique, fundamentals, we still have to get better in that aspect. But, they've been keeping us in games, and we're going to keep improving there as well.
Good. Well, that was my question, because just watching Bethune play in that defense, gosh, the only thing I can say is if you guys keep it up from this standpoint, you're not only going to be in games, but you're going to win the game because of your defense. So much success, Coach.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, next up, we will go to Florida A&M, Coach Simmons. All right, I think we may have lost connection there with Coach Simmons. We will try to get him connected onto the call. We'll be back momentarily. We are attempting to regain connection with Coach Simmons with Florida A&M. Do appreciate everyone's patience. I do see Coach is in the waiting room. All right, I do see that we have Coach with us once again. For all of our media participants, if you do have any questions for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Simmons with Florida A&M. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Southern.
That's definitely, excuse me, a very, very good football game to be a part of last weekend. Again, great atmosphere. Two teams at the top of the division going toe to toe, 4-quarter game, and that's what we expected. And so, tip my hat to Southern for being everything we thought they'd be. And it came down to the wire, and fortunately for us, our guys made enough plays there in the end. So I'm just excited to be 5-1, but more importantly, 4-0 in conference play, still atop of the division. So bye week this week, and we'll try to get rested up and for this long stretch. But all in all, it was a really fun game to be a part of.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Simmons. How are you?
Good morning, Doc.
Man, you talking about a big-time matchup, top 7 teams going head-to-head on the road. Team goes up, you come back in the matchup, and you're able to make some plays to pull it out. Talk about the resiliency of your team being the #1 team in many people's poll rankings, about being able on the road and get it done with another top 10 team.
Yeah, the expectations here are through the roof, and so you'll hear those who still aren't satisfied with the way we're playing, and at times I'm not either. But good teams find a way to win, and that's what we've been able to do. And so even though we're not playing our best ball, we're playing ball that gives us a chance to win games, and that's the goal. And we'll continue to work on the little things, but again, just sometimes you got to curb the expectations a little bit, but excited about the opportunity to be where we are in the standings.
I surmise some of that may be about rushing the ball. You were able to put up 325 yards and take what it give you, and this was with some plays being left on the field for various reasons. Musa, 31-53, 322 touchdowns and no interceptions. Talk about his maturation, what he continues to get done game to game.
Yeah, with our struggles in the run game, which obviously need to be addressed, it's great to be able to throw the ball the way we have the last few weeks or this season, really. And he's playing good football. Obviously, there's some things that we can improve upon in that area as well. Out wide, can do some things a little bit better. But it really just comes down to the fundamentals and details. We're leaving a lot of plays on the field, and it's because of breakdowns and fundamentals. And so we'll address that this week during the bye week. But it's good to be able to throw the ball around the way we have, because we are struggling running the ball right now. But we hopefully we can improve that to give us a much more balanced attack.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, Henry.
All right, congratulations on the big win. Saturday night, electric atmosphere. Can you talk about that mid-scene, I guess the mid-quarter with the light show and then the teams on the field? Can you talk about that, the emotions and stuff, or how it was as a coach in that moment?
It was terrifying. All the lights went off. Their guys were almost at the hash. Our guys were at the hash. Didn't know what was going to happen. Was counting down the seconds till the lights came back on so we can get some order. But again, it really played into the atmosphere. There's an electric atmosphere. Like I told the team, these are the type of games that you want to come to FAMU to play in. Two top teams, two great fan bases, and that's what you expect. So again, I'm really excited about the atmospheres that we get to play in this conference.
All right, Coach. And next question. You guys have gone from basically being the hunter to being the hunted. How do you keep your guys sharp and avoiding that complacency, being at the top?
Well, that analogy of being the hunted is just that. If you're wild and you're getting hunted, you better not relax, or you're somebody's meal. And so we got to stay hungry. We got to understand that the goal we want for ourselves still out there, and we're in control of that destiny right now. So, stay vigilant and how we approach the game. We wear shirts that talk about relentless focus. And that's what we have to have the rest of the season, is that relentless focus to understand what's at stake and how much better we have to play to be the team that we're capable of being.
All right, thank you, Coach. By the way, I've got some of those LED lights I can hook you and 80 Sykes up with.
Yeah, bring them on.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
How you doing, Coach? This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. Coach, I looked at this past weekend as a weekend of separation between either Florida A&M or Southern University in the respective divisions. And one way or the other, one team was going to stay on top, and you guys were able to stay on top. But it's hard to win in Munford Stadium. You guys went in, came out with a victory. How were you able to do that? And you guys are really making a habit of pulling out these victories also. So what do you attribute this to? A lot of our maturity from your players, or coaching, or everything above?
Well, this group has a lot of grit and determination. And even when we don't play well, we compete. And like I tell them all the time, as long as you keep fighting, good things tend to happen. And so for us, I mean, we compete with anybody. We don't back down from a challenge on the road, at home. We get up for football games. The execution isn't always there, but playing hard a lot of times overcomes lack of execution. Execution doesn't overcome not playing hard. And so as long as we keep playing with the same type of passion that we exhibit, we'll give ourselves a chance in every ball game.
So with this open week coming up, I know you're not going to give your plans away, but what areas do you see you need to really focus and concentrate on in preparation for going into Texas Southern?
Well, the two main areas are just fundamentals and discipline. We got to get better fundamentally in some areas, and we got to address the discipline issues that we've had. I mean, we had 3 personal fouls the other day. That's 45 yards worth of penalties that they have nothing to do with the ball being snapped. We had a couple of, I think, false starts. And so we can't keep having those type of penalties that become Achilles heels at some point. We got to clean those up this week, and that's going to be the main focus.
Got you covered. Coach, much success to you, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Have time for one final question for Coach Simmons with Florida A&M. Well, final question for Coach. All right, Coach, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you. All right, next up, we will go to Grambling State. And Grambling State head coach Jackson. All right, once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coach. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach Jackson with Grambling State. Coach, first and foremost, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could, please, Coach, start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alcorn State.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. It was a humbling defeat for us. Obviously, we didn't think we played as well. Alcorn did. They defended their home, did a really good job. We was very disappointed that we weren't able to go there and get a victory. So we got to get back at it this week. We got a home game. It's our homecoming. We need to go win a game this week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach Jackson. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. You speak about humbling very respectfully there. Crowley has really played really well for the most part, at least from what I can see all year long. Obviously, he had 3 interceptions. Some of it was him. Some of the other team Was there anything in particular you saw in regards to the play on the field or after watching the tape that you can provide some discernment of what might have been going on with the interception?
Oh, absolutely. The first one, there's no question that had nothing to do with him. That was a protection issue we had. There's something that we need to shore up as a football team. The second one, he could have put the ball in a different spot. The third one, late in the game, you just wish he would have checked it down. He'd love to have those last two back, but the first one definitely was not on him. And as you said, he had played well all year. It's unfortunate that all of a sudden you have three in a game, but those things, those are the things that lead to other teams winning and you not winning. So he understands that he'll grow from it and get better from it.
You're coming home with Alabama A&M inside your house, but before you get to that matchup in particular, at the end of the game, and this didn't have any bearing on the outcome, I'm just curious from clarification as of watching the game. On the clock, after it seemed like maybe it was run out, could you give the referee give you any insight in terms of why they put time on the clock? I mean,
right before the game was over?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was, again, there was 5 seconds left in the game. Yeah, that's what that was about. There was 5 seconds when all of a sudden we tried to fair catch the ball. There was a penalty that was assessed. That's what that was.
Appreciate it. From the announcer, you couldn't really get that information. Question what was going on, so I just wanted to clear it.
Right. Yes, sir.
All right, currently taking questions for Coach Jackson with Grambling State.
With that being said, can I follow up?
Absolutely.
Ask you a little bit about the Alabama A&M matchup as they're coming in there. What are you seeing in regards to the Bulldogs as they come into town?
The Bulldogs are big, physical, talented, aggressive. They're playing well. I mean, I understand they didn't win against Jackson State, but they have good players, they have good schemes. Coach Maynard's done a great job there. It's going to be a big time game for us.
No doubt. It seems like we've kind of seen that in the conference this year. A lot of big time matchups, close matchups, play here and there. Can you talk about the importance of getting your players to understand that this is a play-by-play, you got to play the full game out.
Absolutely.
Way to come out with a victory.
You just said it. I mean, and I've said it before, there's really good coaches in this conference. There's really good players in this conference. You have to respect the conference, regardless of who you're playing week in and week out. And every play matters. You got to play it one play at a time, one quarter at a time, and you got to do everything you can to be the best you can be at every time, every opportunity you go out there and play one of these teams, because they're talented, they're well coached, and it's some very competitive football.
Thank you, Coach Jackson. Good luck this week. Look forward to the match.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Coach. This is Michael Jefferson with Block Sports. And this was your second game on the road. And as we all know, there are no easy wins in the SWAC. But with you guys playing as hard as you did in this game against Alcorn, and even though it was a real tough loss, what can you tell your players to say, hey, look, it was a tough loss, but defense played well. So what are you telling your players, even though it was a tough loss?
Well, I think the but for us is that the disappointment was we know we can play better, especially on offense. But I'm going to be very transparent. Alcorn had a lot to do with that, and we have to do a better job of making sure that our players understand exactly what's going on in the moment. And we'll do that. But we get it. I mean, we fought tooth and nail. It was a 24-25 game. It wasn't some game where we were blown out. I mean, we thought we were going to win this thing at the end, and in our minds, we should have. But like I said, hats off to Alcorn for defending their turf, their homecoming. But our guys can see that every time you go out, whether it's the road or at home, you're going to have to be at your best, and you got to play as well as you can play week in and week out.
And for your defense, getting ready to play this A&M game that's coming up next week, as you can see, they had a lot of firepower. They were behind big against Jackson State, and they were almost able to come back to pull out that game. So what are you going to prepare for?
We preparing for it all. You better play every freaking snap because it can turn. You just said it. I mean, they were down at 35-0 at half, and here they come roaring back and have a chance to win the game. And so there's no lead that is safe. There's no quarter that you're safe from. You got to play it until it's 0-0 left on the scoreboard.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, much success to you in the next outing against Alabama A&M. And thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Next question goes to JT Keith.
Hey, Coach, JT Keith for USA Today. How are you, sir?
Doing good.
Hey, what have you, this is your second year at the SWAC at Grambling. What have you learned in your 2 years that you didn't know coming in from college and from NFL as a coach?
Well, it's big time football. You know, I didn't know much about the HBCU space until I was at Tennessee State. And now being in the SWAC, and I think even Tennessee State plays a little different conference than what this conference is. There's some really good players, really good coaches, really good football that's being played. I'm excited about what the conference is doing and what it can be. And I just think a lot of student athletes need to look at the HBCU schools. A lot of coaches need to look at the HBCU schools because it's tremendous football.
And the follow-up, do you think there's coaches that are worthy to being at the next level that can coach at the higher levels of college?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt they can. They just need the opportunity. There's no question about that. I think these guys do a great job of recruiting. I think they do a great job of preparing their teams. They're well-versed in fundamental football. And there's no question that a lot of these coaches can coach anywhere, not just Power 5. Now, some of these guys can coach in the National Football League as well.
Wow. Thanks, Coach.
Any final questions for Coach Jackson with Grambling State? All right, we'll take questions from Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach, you started Saturday in first place in the SWAC West, and you ended Saturday not in first place in the SWAC West. How are you going to approach playing in this difficult division for the rest of the season?
Find a way to stay in first place. We're not far out of it neither, though, you know. So I think we control where we want to go. We just got to continue to keep playing and play better. And like I said earlier, just understand that every game is its own game. You know, it's the game within the game every week. And obviously it's about winning. And we understand the situation we're in. The players do. They've seen it. I make sure they understand where we are, where we're slotted in this whole thing. And I like our chances, but we got to go play our tails off every week.
All right, thanks.
Last question goes to Michael Jefferson.
Follow up on an answer that you just gave, Coach, in regards to the coaches and players. With the players that are in the SWAC conference, what do you think we need to do as media, you need to do as coaches and the players? What do we need to do to make sure more eyes are on the players so we can get more players back into the NFL?
You know, it's really about, and you said it, it's media coverage, but it's creating the content for these student athletes so people can see them. They can see the great things they're doing. They can see, look, all these guys will match up with any of these Power 5 guys, in my opinion, when it comes to speed, athleticism, numbers, right? But a lot of the people don't know that. That's got to be put out there and known. And if there's people that we champion that are student athletes in this conference, we need to champion them throughout the country, not just in one region. It needs to be in every region. And I think if you do that, I think more eyes would turn and look. I mean, it is, you know, being at Alcorn's homecoming, there's nothing like that. There'll be nothing like that here at Grambling this weekend. And so I don't think people really get the full extent of what it is to be a part of the HBCU space and the whole environment. And I think if they did, I think, you know, why can't we have college game day come down to one of these? Why can't we create a college game day, you know, through our media sources at one of these institutions while these things are going on? We can do it. There's no reason why we can't.
Coach Jackson, as always, we sincerely appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, next we will go to Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach Hampton. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach, if you could just start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's bye week.
Obviously, we had a great week here in Golden Line Country. Had some great bonding opportunities as a team, and just getting to know the players and the players getting to know the coaches, and so obviously we needed that. Played 5 straight weeks and a lot of close games, and the last game against Southern didn't turn out the way we wanted to, and the kids they're frustrated because obviously that game shouldn't have been 27-0, but again we gave them credit, and but we're excited about where we're headed as a program and excited about getting on the field. Had practice yesterday, so we're ready to roll for this upcoming week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Line Country. I like that, Coach Hampton. How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing great, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Talk a little bit about
cut out on me. Can you start over?
Yes. I'm saying it seems like you got a lot done during this open week, but you got Mississippi Valley State. You're going over there to see the Delta Devils. Talk a little bit about that matchup, what you look forward to in your getting done.
I mean, obviously, it's homecoming for them. So, I'm sure they're excited. We are too. It'll be a nice crowd. And obviously, your 2 programs got new coaches, got a lot of energy, got a lot of passion. They're trying to get a win. We're trying to get a win, and we're trying to establish our program and the direction we want to go. And they're trying to do the same. So anytime you get a chance to play somebody for homecoming, man, that should fire you up because it is what it is. They're going to have all the glitz and the glamour. So we'll get up and make that little 2.5-hour drive and get down there and play some football. So our kids are excited about it and just not having a win in a long time. I don't even remember the last time we won. So that's our focus. That's the only thing that we're concerned with. We need to control what we can control, and that's every play. And that's the mindset of our coaching staff. That's the mindset of our players. And so we're ready to get on the field tomorrow and get back at it.
Coach, seeing a trend throughout this year, it seems like several close games that are really going down to the wire. Some of them are even going to overtime, either big-time stops, big-time kicks, big-time touchdowns at the end. Can you talk about, is there anything that you can do about letting them know playing for the 4 quarters all the way to the end, the expectation that many of these games will be close?
Well, let's be honest. In this league, and this is a very competitive league, and you have one team that may be slightly better than other ones, but at the end of the day, we all got the same players. Some just have more than others. Some may have more finances than others, but we all got really good players. And the coaching in this league is second to none. I tell people that. I coach in the Power 5 level, and I can tell you this, a lot of the guys I've coached with probably couldn't coach on this level. And I'm proud to say I started on this level. And I know what it is to go in that locker room and to bond with your coworkers and then get these young men to play. So it's not surprising to me that the games are really close because we got really good coaches. And they can coach at the Power 5 level. You just need the opportunity. And I was fortunate to have that opportunity. And so now I get a chance to come back. I've hired some good young coaches that's going to have an opportunity coaching Power 5 football. So nothing surprises me. But what you see is the guys that have their programs established. They're doing a good job, and they got experience. And so that's where we're kind of lacking a little bit right now. But man, I tell everybody, couple more years, Golden Line Country. We're like the direction that we're headed, but we're just trying to speed up the process right now. And that's the same thing with Coach Wade at Valley. They got a good football team. He's doing a good job. They got some really good football players, and it'll be a really good football game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Look forward to the matchup.
Next question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Hey, Coach. So coming off of this bye week, going on the road for your first game in 2 weeks, some teams in this spot have in the past tended to come out a little rusty or sluggish, and obviously Valley's a team that's had some good starts to some of their games. How do you make sure the Golden Lions come out ready to go from the first snap in this game when you haven't played in 2 weeks?
But we ain't won a game in 3-4 weeks, right? So what do you mean rusty? Like, it's our job to win the football game. And I told my players, okay, we got to come out like our hair is on fire. I mean, we owe it to our fans. We owe it to our teammates. We owe it to our alumni. We owe it to our university. Our kids need to play well. It ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. We're not taking no for an answer. I mean, we need to come out to practice on Tuesday, and we need to have the right mindset. And the mindset is we got to do what we need to do in all three phases: offense, defense, special team. Our offense need to get moving, and our defense needs to eliminate the big plays, and our special team needs to be special. So it's all on us. And I tell everybody, you know, I was reading a little article. They talking about how the SWAC West going to be won, and they got all these guys predicted to win it. At the end of the day, it's a long season. And I told our kids, all we need to do is just go one game at a time, one play at a time, one quarter at a time. It's a long season. And so what the Golden Lions need to do is we need to continue to get better every single day in the classroom, in the community, on that football field. And we're headed in the right direction. Today is academic Monday for us. No practice today. We got midterms this week. And like I told our kids, if you ain't doing it in the classroom, you ain't going to do it on the field. So we don't want it no other way around here. We're going to be top tier in everything that we do.
And then obviously, Coach, like any team, you've dealt with a few injuries here and there. You know, Jonas Davis and Oscar Lukman, some guys that have missed some time. Coming off this bye week, some time to heal up. Where are you guys health-wise? I know you always say it's next man up, but for these starters, how are they doing health-wise right now?
Well, I mean, we still got guys that's injured. And I tell everybody, our best defensive player hadn't even played since Tennessee State, Nas Lukman. He had 4 sacks in 2 games. He's been out, and he won't play this week. And obviously, Jonas hadn't played in 2 weeks. And so, I mean, you know, he practiced a little bit yesterday, but it is next man mentality, man. Ain't nobody feeling sorry for the Golden Lions, right? So, I mean, next man mentality. We got to play the game on Saturday. And the guys that we put on the field, they got the same standard as the guys that went before them. And so we don't want it no other way. And so get in the training room, get the treatment, get multiple treatments, and sleep with treatment bags or whatever, ice bags, heat pads, whatever it is. It's time to go, man. Them Delta Devils going to be ready. And we need to get down there, and we need to be prepared to play. It's going to be a hard football game, and our kids need to understand that, and they do. And so we're excited about it.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Got time for one final question for Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. We have a final question for Coach. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you. Y'all be blessed.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Next up, we will go to Mississippi Valley State. Coach Wade, once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we've got time, we'll work our way back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Wade with Mississippi Valley State. Coach, thank you so much for your time. And if you could first just start us out with an opening statement.
Oh, yes, sir. First of all, good morning to everybody. Coming off another just tough loss at PV, Coach McDow, really good head coach, really good program. Played hard, just couldn't put it together consistently for 4 quarters. So it's just kind of part of the process. It's just learning how to be a winning team, winning program. We got another tough one this week. Got UAPB rolling in this week, coming off a bye. So I know they're well rested. And, you know, just listening to Coach Hampton, I can guarantee you this, they're going to be motivated. I'm sure they motivated each and every day just listening to that guy. So they'll be ready to come in here and play. So we're excited about the matchup, looking forward to it. And, you know, there's that on that.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Can y'all feel Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab? As you said, the game didn't come out the way you wanted, but your freshman quarterback, Mr. Williams, 18-31, 27 and a touchdown. While your rushing game may not been able to help him, when you put it in his arm, he seemed to be able to get some things done. What are your thoughts about him and some of the that stepped up to make the plays as well?
You know, we just slowly just been bringing him along. Each and every week we've added more to his plate. Didn't want to overwhelm him. He's a true freshman, so we got to be smart with how we deal with that kid. And he's a really good football player. And the thing about Ty, he's not going to beat himself. So I think he had one turn on the whole season, a fumble, hadn't threw any interceptions, knock on wood, but he's a really good football player. And I was here a couple of weeks ago. In the next couple of years, he's going to be something to deal with in the SWAC. I think he's going to be one of the best players in this conference in the next couple of years. The moment is never too big for that kid. He loved it. He loved putting on that jersey, loved putting that helmet on. He loved to go out there and compete. And guys believe in him. You know, he's a true freshman, but these older guys look in his eye and they believe in him because, I mean, it's just something about it. Some kids got it, some don't, and he definitely got it.
Yes, Nate, I asked you how you got in talk with him in terms of recruiting, but more than ask you about the Pine Bluff. You kind of alluded to the team being very ready to come in there and see if they can get the victory and ruin homecoming. Continue to move forward, particularly on your defensive side of the ball, to try to stop some of the momentum that's there in terms of Golden Lions.
Doc, you was breaking up. I got bits and pieces.
No
of
problem.
Question.
I can re-ask the question. Apologize for the internet trouble I'm having here. I was saying, you talked about Pine Bluff coming in there with a lot of energy because of their coach, obviously trying to affect the homecoming and maybe coming out with the victory. To see from your defensive side to stop what they do offensively, get things done for the Delta Devils.
Got to get after the quarterback. They have a really good quarterback, big kid back there. So you got to win the line of scrimmage. I mean, whether you're playing UAPB or anybody, everything we do starts up front. So just being able to first and foremost stop the run and be able to affect the quarterback, try to get him off his spot, I think is going to be very essential for us this weekend.
Thank you, Coach Wade. Look forward to the matchup.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Tanner Spearman.
Hey, Coach, hope you're doing well. Tanner Spearman with the Pine Bluff Commercial. Looking at this matchup on Saturday, you've got Mississippi Valley State, you've got UAPB, two teams with first-year head coaches trying to get something going, trying to rebuild things, and both teams still looking for that first conference win of the year. What do you think we're going to see in this game from both teams in terms of a sense of urgency to get that first conference win finally taken care of?
You know, the more I listen to Coach Hampton, I mean, the more I realize, I mean, we're both trying to do this thing the right way. We're not rushing the process. We're not trying to skip steps to, you know, just get to these victories. We both trying to do it the right way. So, you know, before I even answer that question, just want to talk about how much respect I have for him as far as how he going about this, because that's the right way to do it. I think the most desperate team is going to win. We don't have a victory at all. They have one non-conference victory versus Miles College. I just think who's going to execute? I mean, motivation is one thing. Motivation gets you started, you know, but it's about just being consistent with just the habits that you create. So whoever can play the cleanest football game for 60 minutes, I think is going to come out on top. Obviously, we excited. It's homecoming for us. We don't get into that. I mean, our job is to, you know, do what we need to do on the football field. I mean, the other things that go around us for everybody else. But who can execute at a high level, the most consistent, I think is going to be the team that's going to come out on top. And that's our preparation. Doing all these small things right, play in, play out, day in, day out.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
Hey, Charles, how you doing?
Hey, I wanted to follow up on you talking about Ty Williams, and I was really struck by his arm strength. He really made some throws that really opened my eyes this past weekend. But just kind of follow up on kind of how you talked about bringing him along slowly, but his maturation as a quarterback, but especially in regards to some of the throws that he made this weekend.
He made some really good throws. He's a really good quarterback. But receivers got to make plays. So it was some balls he threw up and guys went up and made plays. So that's part of it. You know, but as far as Ty, I mean, he wants to be great. And his arm strength is amazing. And he came in as this guy that we looked at, if I'm being honest, as a package guy. We were going to run the quarterback and do some wildcat type of deals with him. But he wanted to get better. So I think he's in the office now. We're off today. It is an academic day for us as well. We call it Valley Man Monday, where guys dress up and do things like that. And, you know, but he's over there now with the offensive coordinator. And he's looking at clips and he's trying to get better. I mean, he wants to be great. And physically, I mean, he's 6'4", he say 238, but I think he's 250 right now. But again, he's a really good quarterback, and we're gonna keep developing that guy. Like I said, we didn't want to overwhelm him by putting too much on him too soon, but he's accelerated the process as far as what we want to put on him because his ability to be able to retain and do what we asked him to do. So we're gonna ask him to do a little bit more this week than we asked him to do last week.
Sure thing. Appreciate your time, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Wade at Mississippi Valley State. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we're a few minutes ahead of schedule for Coach McDow with Prairie A&M. We'll pause briefly and we'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for our media participants, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for our coaches. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we've got additional time allotment, we will circle back to get additional questions answered. With that being said, so happy to be joined by Coach McDow with Prairie A&M. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for your time. And if you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Mississippi Valley State.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everybody. I think it was a great win. Again, coming off of a game that that was played pretty tough against Grambling, and just trying to get these guys focused back in, getting back in the win column. I thought it was a really good game. Coach threw some wrinkles at us that we wasn't expecting, but again, that's what you get with good coaching over there. And we was able to adjust to it, and again got the victory. So just getting these guys back ready to go, getting them healthy, and get ready to go across town and play against ACU.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
Morning, Coach. How you doing?
Morning.
First and foremost, congratulations on the win. Way to bounce back. I want to ask a little bit about the play of Trayvon Conley. He was very efficient through the air, 259 yards, but he took some chances with regards to his legs, 10 attempts rushing. Talk about his play, and that sort of things that you guys saw on film coming into this game.
Yeah, again, we give Trezon to the room to do whatever he wants to do. We're giving the privilege room, however you want to say it, to do what he needs to do in order to make plays. And again, if that comes down to him running the ball more, yeah, he's going to do it. One thing, about Trey, you don't want to get with him during the process of the game because, he tend to go left a little bit. And as he told me on the sideline, when I was trying to talk to him about certain things that I saw during the game, he's like, "Hey, coach, I got it. And anytime he says that, guys, he has it, so he knows what's going on. He know what to do. But again, going forward, as we looked at film today, like I told him, I said, plays that you left out there as a quarterback, throws that you missed, we got to going forward. We got to make those plays, and as well as the wide receiver has to, they got to catch him as well. So again, he did well enough to win the game, and that's what we want him to manage the game to where we can win it.
A quick follow-up question. You guys step out of conference this week to play at Houston Christian. Coach Braxton Harris is in his first year over there, but he's known around FCS industry experts as being a top-notch recruiter. But how important is this game, especially with regards to the landscape of Texas recruiting, Houston recruiting especially?
Yeah, they're all important, but yeah, definitely a big game. Going across town. TSU being here, they being here in town. And all the other schools, Sam Houston. We all in Houston. We all recruiting. Again, for us to go over there to their place, get a win, get a victory. It looks good for PV. That's what we want. It's not just a game that we're looking at because it's out of conference that, we're just going to go over there and just play a game. We're going over there to win, and as I told the guys today, I said, we had success this past weekend. We it's done and over with. Now we have to move on to a team that's we're going to their home stadium and be ready to play football, Prairie football, and that's good football. And if we play football the way we know how, still to my to what I think is still not where we need to be offensively, defensively, and special team wise. We still haven't put that whole package together. But again, as I told them, a good win is a win, and we just got to correct the things that we messed up on this past weekend, and go play ACU better than we played this past weekend.
Good thing. Appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Ask your question on the other side, those that are coming down with the ball from your quarterback there, your receivers. Shamar Savage had a big game in terms of a big catch, touchdown. Only 2 catches, but on 83 yards. Yeah. 74-yard was one of the long plays he got there. But yeah, wide receivers that seem to be able to pick up some chunky. And your quarterback spreads the ball around to him. Brian Jenkins continues to play big this year. Talk about that wide receiver room all across the board.
Yeah, and you're right, Doc. And shoot, that's what we've been hoping and praying and asking these guys to do. Coach Moore has done a great job with these guys, and we've been in a situation, previous games where we can open it up, had we caught, the passes, the passes been there previous games as well. And again, Coach Moore just, got with him and, again, he brought him in individually this week and then talked to him individually and told him, hey, when the ball is there, your opportunity is there, you got to make those plays. And Savage, great concentration throughout that process. Guy was holding him. They already had threw the flag, but, he concentrated and, stayed with it and then, made a great play. And these guys can do that. We got dudes that can make plays, but now, again, it's about, when you're going up against, as I tell them all year long, when you're going up against guys and you're challenged, them one-on-ones, who's going to be the better athlete, and I think we got some of the best athletes here, but they got to prove it. They got to show it. And again, the only way they're going to do that is by catching the ball.
Great point. 6 receivers, 11 receptions, 259 yards, 25 big chunks of yards. Amazing when you see that. But turning to your next matchup, you talked about Houston Christian and the recruiting and able to get in there and get this victory. But they have a quarterback, Colby Suits, senior 45-pounder from
Yeah.
Fort Meade, Texas. Your defense to be able to do to kind of slow them down. It seems like they like to throw it around.
They do. Yeah, you're absolutely right, dog. They throw it around, they'll run it, and it's like, looking at film on them, they do a whole lot of different things. So we just kind of have to narrow it down to what we want to do defensively to stop this group from throwing the ball and being successful at throwing it, and at the same time being able to stop the run. But yeah, they definitely throw it around in different facets, and our guys gonna have to step it up. And DB, I thought they did a lot better this weekend. Do they still have something left to prove and left in the tank? Can they get better? Absolutely. As we told them in film about 30 minutes ago. So, again, just putting a challenge on them and, told them, hey, man, you guys got to step it up, because right now, they're coming up to you guys, and rightfully so. As an offensive, if I was on the offensive side, I would do the exact same thing. So they got to step it up, and I know they're going to be able to do it, once they get in there, learn what they're doing and how to make plays, and get the ball back, or at least knock it down to work and get them into those fourth down and punt the ball and give it back to our offense.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Kyle T. Mosley.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
What's up, T? What's going on?
Oh, good. All right, look, you talked about the defense and you want to improve, but you guys had, 7 sacks?
Yeah, that front run. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Your front was doing an awesome job. What other minor tweaks are you talking about on the defensive side that we could be able to kind of pay attention to?
Again, I'm very pleased, very happy with way these young men played up front, man. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I gotta take care of them because again, they did what they came out, said that they was gonna do. So, I told them, like, look, man, you guys go out, do what you need to do, and and I'll make sure that that the position coach take care of them. So, they've been asking me about that all morning during practice. So I definitely got to make sure to take care of those guys up front, man, because that's where it starts at. You guys know that as well. It makes it easier for that secondary as well. Again, the other tweaks, again, just getting our young guys back there, seeing what they see and just being able to trust themselves. Right now, I think they're still at the point where they just not trust themselves completely. As I said earlier, they have gotten better this past game, but still some things out there that needs to be tweaked. They can tweak to make themselves better.
Okay, and Houston Christian, that poses a quite of a challenge for you guys, especially before you meet Southern and those guys. What would you like to see out of your defensive backfield going against these guys?
Again, just challenge them more. That's it. Just get up there and challenge them and see where they at. Same thing I tell them during practice. Hey, get out there, work on something that you probably, work on something different. See if you can do it. Know if you can do it during practice, and then in that way, that you'll know if you can take it into the game or not. But the first place is to try things is there in practice. So again, I think they're gonna be ready to go. I know they will be. I know Dan, I have them ready to go because again, you can see the transformation of them learning and getting more confidence in themselves. And like I said, we got some dudes that can run, but now they've been in position. But again, which athlete is going to be better than that athlete at that particular time that's going to make the play? And unfortunately, we haven't been that team. So, but we've been there in position. We just got to make the plays.
All right. Good luck. See you Saturday.
Thank you, sir.
Last question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, good morning, Coach McDowell. Ty Miller with the Power News Radio Network and Black College Football Weekly. Just got one question for you. What do you like most about your team at this midway point of the season?
Again, just how they still stand together, coming together. And that's what we've been talking about all year long, all spring, all summer, being more together as a unit, whether it be hanging out with each other away from practice and being more together, encouraging each other during practice. We come a long way with that right there. And they're doing it. We're asking them to do it. Is it all the time? Absolutely not. But do they have their frustration with each other during practice? Absolutely. But they know how to bring it back. At the end of the day, apologize if necessary, if that makes a difference. with our guys, or if it makes, they just got to be able to stay together. And that's what we've been, that's what we've been doing. I told them, hey, you guys got to build a covenant with each other, man. If you continue to do that, we can go a long way, providing you, with that covenant, you do what you're supposed to do, hold yourself accountable and hold each other accountable. But again, with that covenant, of course, it has to start with you first, be it offense, defensively, or special teams.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Coach McDowell, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next up, we go to Southern University and Coach Duly. Once again, if you do have any questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we've got additional time, we will work our way back around. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Duly with Southern University. Coach, as always, thank you so much for your time. And if you could, please just start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing versus Florida A&M.
Going against Florida A&M, I thought it was a great game. You're talking about a well-played game between two good teams. Was fighting, and you had to fight for 60 minutes. A great contest. Talking about a game that you want to be a part of. Unfortunately, we didn't make enough plays down the stretch to come out with a victory. But very, very hard-fought football team. Coach Simmons had his guys prepared. I thought both teams was prepared and played well. So we just got to finish and next contest, try to get the victory.
Thank you so much for those opening comments, Coach. First question will go to Jim Klein-Peter. You're on mute, Jim. Jim, you're on mute. You're on mute, Jim.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, Coach, it looked like y'all ran the ball a lot more than y'all usually do. And I know game plans are complicated. What was the thinking going in to try and run the ball primarily against FAMU?
Well, I mean, we just was going to run it and take what the defense was giving us. We saw some things that we had an opportunity to evaluate, and I thought our running game was doing well. And we did rush the football pretty good. But it's one of those things right there. You just got to be able to make the plays regardless of what. Some plays was there, and they came up one play more than us to get in the end zone to have a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. And how are you going to address the special teams? That was kind of unlike y'all, too. A couple of really bad special teams mistakes that ended up costing y'all about 4 points.
Well, special teams is a part of it. It's three-phase. So we're going to correct those things as well. But, at the end of the day, I look at the situation. Those young men fought. They fought for 60 minutes, whether it be special team, defense, or offensively. I thought they fought for 60 minutes. FAMU made a couple more plays than we did, and they capitalized on the mistakes that we made, and that's why they came out with a victory. But we'll correct those mistakes, and I look for those teams to play well in our next contest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
It's Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Good.
Good morning, Doc.
Yes, you talk about a great game. It was all hyped up to look like that in terms of the top 7 matchup within the conference, divisional leaders coming into it. Game went back and forth, a lot of big plays. What makes your defensive front so effective this year?
We got numbers, we got depth, and we got guys that can play. We don't look at being starters. I tell those guys all the time, starting is only one play. You still got to play the rest of the game. So we got guys that we can rotate with that front four that gives us some good play. So we try to get those guys to stay fresh and just get after the quarterback and no doubt about stop the run.
You step out of the conference this week coming up for homecoming. You got Lincoln, California coming in. They struggle a bit this year, but I'm sure there's some things that you want to work on for your own team and get done. What's the overall philosophy of what you want to get done this weekend besides ultimately coming out with a W?
Our thing is, and I told it to the team clearly, we fear none and respect all, and you have to. So we understand that they're going to come in with an opportunity to try to win a game. And we got to come in with the opportunities to saying that we got to get better as a football team in all three phases, in all the phases. And I think that's our mindset. We gotta get Southern University to be in Southern University, and that's playing hard. I thought our players played hard. Unfortunately, we came up short, but we're gonna go out and we're gonna compete, and we're gonna compete for 60 minutes. The one thing that I don't keep quiet, we got a good football team, regardless of what the record indicate. We still in the hunt for this thing right here, and we're gonna continue to fight.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Duly, good morning to you. Ty Miller with the Power News Radio Network, Black College Football Weekly. And Coach, I'm also a member of the Black College Football Hall of Fame Selection Committee, looking at players for Legacy Bowl this year. That being said, could you tell us more about your wide receiver, August Petrie? I know he's a graduate student. Would he be a great candidate to be in that Legacy Bowl?
Every senior I have will be a candidate. I think you need to get all those seniors right now, make sure you put them on your list and get them in the bowl game. But no, absolutely. August Petrie, you know, he battled some injuries in fall camp. He's coming back now. He's as close to 100% as he can be, but very, very explosive. A young man that does great things. You know, you got to take your hat off to a guy like that have to study law, because it's not easy studying law and then playing football, but he understands how to manage his time, and I think he's doing a great job. But he is a guy that you definitely want to take a look at.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, the opponent, Lincoln, you talked about a little bit, but there's not a whole lot of available information on it. How do you track down stuff on them, and have you been able to look at film, and do you know much about them?
Yeah, I do. You know, when you take a look at, they played a lot of teams in our conference. They playing a lot of teams in our conference and have played some teams in our conference and some teams we know of. So we have watched some tape, a lot of tape on them, just like any other opponent. They got some players on the team as well. You got to think that you can recruit. You know, everybody can't sign everybody, so they're going to have some good football players. But what they bring to the table, they want to be fast and physical on defense. I think everybody want to do that. And offensively, they're going to try to run the football as well as throw it. They want to be balanced. So we got some information on them enough to have our game plan and be prepared for a contest on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Hey, Coach. On the game-winning touchdown that FAMU scored there in the fourth quarter, what was the defense you guys were in, and was that the appropriate strategy, I guess, to defend FAMU the way you did that allowed them to drive down the field?
Yeah, I thought the guy was where he was supposed to be at. Sometimes you just got to make the play. You know, we understand the young guys, they played hard and they fought. We didn't see it. I think the receiver as well as the quarterback made a great play. And that's what you have when you have two good teams going against one another and you have good players going against one another. I don't second guess any call that was made. I know that we were in position. I know that they was prepared, but they made that play and it was going to happen one way or the other. Either we're going to make the play or they're going to make the play. So it came up short for us. We're going to continue to fight. That's never going to be an issue for us. And Coach Miller had those guys ready to go. We'll have those guys ready to go for our next contest. But as far as being the right play, you know, hindsight have a lot of great plays when you call it with hindsight, but you got to call it in the heat of the moment. What can you do? How can you make that play? And I thought he made the right decision. Just didn't come up the right way we wanted it to.
Yeah, you talk about hindsight, and during the game, especially on the last drive you guys were in on offense, you could audibly hear like boos from the crowd as you got to run the football down the field. What did you make of that? And how did you respond to something like that?
You don't respond. You respond with just doing what you feel is comfortable. You know, we know what we were doing. We understood what we had to do and the reason why. I mean, if you just want to just coach football, you talk about you drop 8 or you drop 9. What would you throw to create an interception? We saw something there and we had a great chance to make a big play that would have put us in the mindset of a passing play. So we had a game plan. You know, I don't get into what take place. A lot of things take place during the game. The only thing I thank God that I have tunnel vision. I can focus on what's important now. You know, we talk about that win and it's the acronym of it that we talk about. What's important now on the field, trying to get the touchdown to tie this game up so we give ourselves a chance to win it. But for hearing noises, I don't hear noise. Only thing I can hear is my quarterback calling the signal, and we trying to make a play. And I can hear the coaches on the headset talking and game planning and strategizing.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
Morning. How are you?
Doing well. Coach, I asked Coach Simmons about this, but that moment in between the third and fourth with the lights went out and the light show and everything, we heard his perspective on it, but being, that you were at home, it was electric in there. What was your viewpoint of that scene?
It's always electric in Mumford Stadium. A lot of things take place, and, to have that type of scenery take place with two teams like that, it never crossed my mind that those two teams was going to do anything out of the ordinary, because I thought they both was well coached and disciplined. I think it was just the heat of the moment, and you can tell the intensity of what's going on. And it's a hard-fought football game. Those guys was willing to settle it on the field. So you saw two teams come almost face to face, but nothing happened. That shows the discipline of both teams and what their coaches, and the coaches didn't have to do anything. I had no worry in my mind. It's just the lights, camera, and action. I thought they did a great job, and then you line back down and play football.
Thank you, Coach. You can definitely feel the intensity through the TV, but congratulations. Best of luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Duly with Southern University? All right, we're a little bit over time. We'll get one more question in. It'll go to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach, again, Ty Miller here. Can you tell us more about Lincoln University and what you expect from this California team this weekend?
Well, I expect the team to come now. They're trying to get their identity. You're talking about a new team. They're going to come and they're going to fight. They don't understand that it's Southern University. I think when a lot of teams play Southern University, they get up to play Southern University, give them an opportunity to make a statement. But it gives us an opportunity to go out and get one game better. Give us an opportunity to correct what Southern University needs to correct. So we expect them to come in with the mindset that we have an opportunity to win the game. They're coming off a loss, a big time loss, so maybe we can catch them. But our mindset is we're not going to let FAMU beat us twice. So we got to go out. We got to focus. We got to take care of the task is at hand right now. Homecoming is not for the Southern University football team. It's homecoming. That means you graduate, you come back home. Right now, we got a job to take care of, and that's to play 60 minutes of football.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Duly, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, we go to Texas Southern University. Head coach McKinney. Do see that we have Coach with us. Once again, if you have a question for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach McKinney. Coach, if you could just start us out with an opening statement, then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, spent some time on our bye week, just trying to improve in some areas that we feel like we need to improve upon, as well as get some guys healed up to compete on this final stretch.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBC Sports Lab. How you doing today?
Good, Doug. How about you?
Doing well. Getting a little used to this fall weather. First I complain heat, and then all of a sudden the cold get in here. I'm nervous about that too. That being said, Coach, you had a week off after getting a W for homecoming. Talk about this week in regards to Chase Wilson as he continues to develop, and he'll be the quarterback it seems going. Were you able to do anything to continue his maturation?
Yeah, it's about with Jace, it's about getting reps, and we spent a lot of time getting him prepared within our scheme, getting him a lot of reps during the bye week, and just getting him more comfortable as far as being the number one guy as opposed to being the number two guy. And so he has the keys to the car right now, and we got to. It's our job as coaches to get him as prepared as possible.
With that being said, you take the flight over to Bethune-Cookman this week in Florida. Talk a little bit about the matchup. A very stingy defense, but they hadn't been able to put a lot of points up. What are your thoughts schematically of what needs to be done in that matchup?
For us, it's about executing and taking care of the ball. They're very physical defense, very tough team to run up on. And for us, we got to, be disciplined, be consistent, and take care of the ball and just chip away, take those positive yards as we get them and kind of string a few positive plays together back to back and build upon that momentum.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the trip.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Tal T. Mosley.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good. How's it going, Kyle?
Good, good. As far as your receivers, I know right before the break, you wanted to tweak some things with those guys as far as how they've been catching the football. Did you guys work on some different drills during the off period to be able to help them out?
Yeah, well, we've been working on drills with them all season throughout the off season. It's just a matter of guys going out and doing their job and concentrating and focusing on the ball and taking care of the ball when they get their opportunities.
Okay, and talk about your running backs. You already said that it's going to be a challenge for you guys to run on those Wildcats. Do you still think that you can be effective with Owens as well as Howard in the run game?
I mean, Bethune does a really good job of stopping the run. We're going to, tweak some things to see if we can find some areas within their scheme that we can run the ball upon. But I mean, our guys are on scholarship too. We got to be able to do the things that we need to do to be successful to win the game.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Joseph Duarte.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Joe.
Coach, sorry to take you away from your game week preparation, but I wanted to ask you about a player over here at Houston, Isaiah Hamilton, and sort of what you guys saw in him, besides some of the interception returns that he had for touchdowns, but just overall his development and when you guys got your hands on him and sort of help mold him into the player that he really became over there.
Yeah, we in recruiting, we thought he was a raw talent. He's very athletic, very untapped, talented young man. We just tried to groom him and give him some tools to become a better player. And I think he did that for us, and I think he's doing a really good job over there across the street at the University of Houston.
You say across the street, and it literally is. When you guys look at the relationship in the neighborhood and the schools, I know y'all face each other a couple of times. Is that sort of unique? He probably had the shortest transfer of anybody in the nation this past offseason.
Yeah, I think, when he left his home, instead of making the right turn on Sky Street, he made a left turn. So it wasn't that far to go.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach McKinney with Texas Southern. All right, next question goes to Joseph Duarte.
Coach, if I could also ask you about Derek Matthews. You've had him now on your staff for several years. What have you seen in him in terms of he's wanted to be a coach and he's sort of taking the steps up the ladder. But what kind of drew you to him to sort of give him a chance and how has he responded?
Well, Joe, I don't know if you remember, but I coached at the University of Houston and I recruited Derek Matthews.
That's right.
Yeah, so I've known him for a long time. He's a student of the game. He wants to learn as much as possible about both offenses as well as defenses. He works extremely hard. The players like him. He's a very likable coach. He knows what he's talking about, and if he doesn't know, he knows where to go find the answers at. And he's just been a blessing to have on our staff. He's like a little brother to me. So I've known him for a long time, and he does a tremendous job with our linebackers.
I do remember when he got here, I think they called him Pup was his nickname. And is that sort of the key when you see someone early on, you know, they're playing their career, but you sort of maybe know that they might want to be a coach later on. Did you get that from him, that he could go that route? He sort of had that background, or at least that little coaching mentality in him?
I did not know he wanted to be a coach. I think his dream was to play in the NFL for a long time. So, but when he wasn't able to do that, he was looking for a place to start his career. We hired him as a graduate assistant,
right,
without hesitation.
Thank you.
Coach McKinney, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, next we go to our final coach of the day, Coach Taylor with Jackson State. See that we have Coach there with us. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have a question for Coach Taylor, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. With that being said, happy to be joined by Coach Taylor with Jackson State. Coach, first and foremost, thank you so much for your time. If you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing versus Alabama A&M.
Great road win for our football team. Thought we came out in the first half and played a great football game. Very pleased with what we did defensively, creating 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble. Offense played well, scoring six touchdowns, had some guys really step up that we have been, telling them that they had to play better in order for this football team to be successful. And they came out and did that for the most part. Just got to come out in the second half and, stay on the gas. That's basically what I told them, but very pleased with the win. Anytime you can go out and generate 45 points and, create 4 turnovers, it's good for your football team.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's Inside the Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach Taylor.
Morning, Doc. How you doing?
Doing well. Obviously, you came out with the victory, and you were able to be balanced. But for this game, it worked out well. I'm not sure if you can get more balanced than this one, 202 to 204. But with that being said, offensively, Jason Brown was able to get it done, 14 to 26, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then Irv Mulligan continues to be brilliant as of what he's doing on that side of the ball. Obviously, 115 yards, 20. Talk about that 1-2 punch when they're able to really get things balanced off in terms of as they get going.
Kind of broke up there on me, Doc, but I think
I was just saying, what are your thoughts in terms of the 1-2 punch between Jason Brown and Irv Mulligan?
Yeah, I mean, both are good players. Both are good players. Older guys that have played a lot of football. Transfers that we brought in here in order to, change the way we looked offensively. We need some immediate help on the offensive side of the ball at the quarterback position, as well as the running back position, and both have, really come in and done a great job. We wanted Jason to play better this week. He came out and did it, and when he's playing well and distributing the football around to multiple guys like he does, we're looking like the way we want to offensively. And I've been saying it about Irv. Irv just, he comes to play he's going to play hard week in, week out. What you see is what you get on him, a good back with size, speed, that is the total package, for us, offensively for us. So when those 2 guys are on, you can see like we're a very dangerous and explosive offense. So, we try to put together good plans and, not put too much on their plates where they can go out there and be, great players for this offense.
Follow-up question will be about the defense going up against Alabama State's offense. What do you want to see your defense improve on to be able to get it done against the Hornets?
Well, I thought we did a good job the other day making the game one-dimensional. We wanted to take the run away from Alabama A&M, and I thought for the most part we did that. And they had to play from behind. So, we always emphasize stopping the run, and then that's something that I want to see us be able to do this weekend. Alabama State, wants to run the football, and we're going to have to be able to stop the run and also continue to create turnovers. The defense has been doing a great job of creating turnovers, getting those extra possessions for our offense, so those are two things that we're stressing going into this homecoming weekend.
Thank you, Coach Taylor. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Doc.
Next question goes to Charles Bishop.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good, Chuck. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I wanted to ask, given the special teams woes this past season, where did you guys find Dylan Watson from?
Dylan was on campus. He was going to school here. Got a phone call. Somebody tipped me on him, telling me about a kicker that was on campus that played at junior college and did very well, had a lot of success there. So he's been going to school here. So I reached out to him and basically told him about our situation, what we, our deficiencies at that position and what we needed. And he came out and did a little kicking deal for us. We had an open trial and we saw him kick, the first couple of footballs. And I'm like, man, this is a no-brainer. But just a blessing, Chuck, to have, a kid like that sitting around on campus that came in and, truly impacted that game this past weekend.
Sure thing. Quick follow-up. Alabama State is known as one of the stingier defenses in the league, but what sets them apart from your vantage point?
They play hard. They're going to play hard, and they build that thing around the defense, if you ask me. That whole program is just, if they having success, if Alabama State is having successes on a football season, that means they're playing good defense. They got a great linebacker in there that has been doing it, and playing a lot of snaps for them over there. And they got a lot of length in the secondary, but they're going to play man. They're going to get up and challenge you, and they're going to play hard for Coach Robinson. So, we got to bring our A game, but they're definitely a stingy defense that, tackles well and gets after the, opposing offenses.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. During Saturday's game, we got a lot of contributions from players like Stephen McGee, Stephen McGee. Jason Brown was mentioned before, and some other guys that kind of stepped up for you on offense to create a complete balanced game for you guys. How would you kind of assess the contribution from those guys on Saturday?
I mean, we got quite a few guys that can make plays. Ahmad Miller was a freshman running back that came in and set the tone early as well with Irv. Had a nice long run. You just said it, Seven McGee, Fabian McCray. We've been waiting for him to come along as a receiver, and he had an explosive play. But we got quite a few dudes over there that can make plays. Jacoby and Morgan come off the get down there and score zone situations and scores 2 touchdowns in the score zone for us. And like you said, when Jason is on and distributing the ball around to multiple guys, that offense can be a thing of beauty. We've been waiting on Seven McGee though. We've been waiting on him to have his coming out part, and that was kind of it. He's getting healthy. He's getting back on his feet. Had 2 great punt returns. For him to be at that size and go out there and play the outside receiver position and go out there and catch a fade ball for a touchdown just shows his versatility and the things that he can do. But he's getting back healthy. We got some other guys getting back healthy. We'll get back this week. So, it is. I mean, every week it's a new guy, and that's the beauty of this offense.
Yeah, Coach, and this will be your first homecoming as head coach at United State. I know they mean a lot to you. The planning team, you played for their homecoming last year. So, what are kind of like the emotions going into this game for you?
Just ready to line it back up and play. Right now, coming off that big win on the other day, we're just looking forward to it. Anytime you can play at home, though, at homecoming, it's going to be a big crowd. The whole week leading up is going to be full of energy. A lot of excitement. So just looking forward to it, for as far as my football team. It's a lot of new faces on this football team that don't know what a JSU homecoming is going to be like, but I'm excited for those guys as well as some of my coaches as well. So I'm just looking forward to everybody, getting in town this weekend, being safe, having a good football game and just having a great time.
All right, thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to Michael Jefferson.
How you doing, Coach? This is Mike Jefferson with Block Sports.
How you doing?
Man, good to see you again. Yeah, you had a great balanced attack this week with the run game and the passing game. What do you attribute that to for this past week with A&M?
I mean, that's just something we wanted to do going into the game plan, and that's just what we are offensively as far as this football team. But anytime, our offensive line is playing pretty well, where we can do things like that, where you can run the ball and, put the ball in the air, put it in Jason's hands and let him make some throws. It kind of keeps defenses off balance. What are you going to do here? You're going to throw it or you're going to run it? You look at what happened in the second half, we were kind of slow, but we're backed up on the goal line one time, and Jason and Duke Miller makes a heck of a throwing completion.
Great pass.
That was an unbelievable play in that football game. Just you keep defenses off balance, try not to tip your hand too much. But when you're able to be balanced like that, it's really the play of your offensive line, those big guys up front.
Yeah, and I know with Alabama State, you alluded to earlier, they're great on their defense. And in terms of this balanced offense, you think you're really going to put them off balance this week coming up for homecoming?
We're just going to do what we do. We're just going to come out there and put together a good plan. Our coaches was in here yesterday, starting on that plan for them for this week. And, we're just going to go out there and do what we do, try to get it in our playmakers' hands. We ask the offensive line to play well every week. We play a few different guys up there, as well as we ask Jason and those quarterbacks to play well. And if they're doing that, and then that's another thing too that we didn't do the other day in that football game against A&M. We didn't turn the football over. You give yourself a chance to win when you do those kind of things.
Gotcha. Well, thanks, Coach, and I'll see you this weekend.
All right, you be safe. I look forward to seeing you.
Will do.
Mm-hmm.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, good morning, Coach. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, Coach. You got Alabama State coming in. We've talked about this extensively today. This matchup, it's got a little extra spice to it, from last year's, events and stuff, and Coach Robinson saying, "Hey, I hope you guys schedule us." Do you guys use that as motivation, or is this just, "Hey, we're gonna focus on the next game"?
I don't get into all that kind of stuff. It's the next game. It's homecoming for us. I just worry about my team and my players, and preparing for Alabama State. All the talking and the stuff like that. I've never been, big on that kind of stuff. The players got to play. Coaches got to coach. The game ain't won throughout the week like that. Just talking about it. The game is won when these coaches are in here, game planning, putting the plans together, and then the practices, getting the players acclimated to the game plans, and then you get to the game. The best team is going to win. The team that plays the hardest and don't find ways to beat themselves. So that's how I look at it. That's what we're going to do going into this football game.
All right, Coach. And next thing, y'all seem to have found more athletes on campus walking around than most schools have found in the portal or just in recruiting. Can you just talk about, being able to, or the ability to be able to find these kind of hidden gems on campus?
It's just a blessing, like I was saying earlier. I mean, anytime you can, just really stumble up on a kicker like that. You talk about a kid with a explosive leg. He kicked a 40-yard field goal into the wind the other day. And I asked him before I sent him out there. I was like, Dylan, what you think about this? Where the ball at? We're going into the wind. He said, "Coach, I've been doing this all week. I got this. And just cool, calm, collected kid, great size. So anytime you can find those kind of bodies on campus, it's just a blessing. And it's probably a couple more on campus. That's why you have your walk-on tryouts, yearly, just trying to find those hidden gems, those kids like that can come out and help you win games."
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Appreciate it.
Next question goes to JT Keith.
Hey, Coach. JT Keith. Hey, is Leila Martin still on the team? Are you going to be able to use her? Is she going to be playing any or kicking?
Yeah, she was. She traveled to the game with us this weekend. Yeah, so she's still on the team.
Okay, and then finally, can you compare and contrast Sylveon Wilkerson to the running back you have now that's running, because he should be maybe a SWAC Player of the Year?
You said comparing to who? Say it one more time.
The running back you have now.
Mm-hmm. You talking about Herb and Savion?
Herb Mulligan, yes, because he could.
Yeah, Herb is Herb, Savion and Savion. You know, they're two totally different backs. I don't want to compare the two to each other. I mean, but you know, Herb's a good back, Savion's a good back. Both run hard, but you know, two totally different, you know, type running backs. You know, you got one more of a power back, and Herb is just, you know, more of a, I think, an all-around type kid. You know, top end speed and everything that he brings to the game.
What do you think about him being nominated for SWAC Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year?
Still a lot of games left, but I think he's on track. You know, he's doing some good things right now. But he just got to stay the course. If he continues, you know, the path that he's on, he's going to have some good numbers. So we'll have to see how that goes these next 5 football games.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Coach Taylor, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.